Connecticut. Ms. DeLauro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your work on this committee. And I want to thank Leader Jeffries and the entire committee for the great work that you have done and continue to do. January 6, 2021 was one of the darkest days in our nation's history. I was here that day. And the insinuation that the rioters who assaulted that Capitol that day were anything less than violent offenders is an insult to the brave police officers and the Capitol staff who put their lives, and some who lost their lives, to defend our democracy. And I witnessed firsthand the violence, the fear, the chaos that Trump's lies and conspiracy theories brought to our sacred halls. It was not simply an attack on the Capitol building, it was an attack on our democracy, our Constitution, our shared values, and those values that we share with Americans. My story, very simply, I went to the Capitol. Connecticut was not one of the states being challenged. I asked, staff person drove me there. I said to him, Harper, you go stay in my Capitol office. I'm going to the gallery where I joined other members, and we were just sitting listening, and I wanted to see it. It was a historic experience of what was happening. And as I was sitting there not long after, I see the Speaker of the House removed. I see the Majority Leader removed. I see the whip moved. And so we all know that that means that something is afoot, and we're looking around and trying to figure out what happened. And the Capitol Police go to the microphone and they say, sit down, we're going to continue the proceedings. And then a few minutes later, they got back up and said, you know, get your gas masks out. And to be very honest, I never even knew that there were gas masks under the seats in the House of Representatives. Pulled it out, couldn't get it open, didn't know what the hell to do with it, and so forth. Asked Jim Hines, help me, and which he did. But I have that gas mask, and I have it in my office as a reminder of what that day was about. And they told us then to evacuate. We had to evacuate you. And as Sarah has described, it's not a continuous area around that gallery. You're up over railings, under railings, etc. And we saw the barricaded door, the broken glass window with insurrectionists putting their hands through and guns being pointed at them. And then there were the gunshots. Then there were the gunshots. And we heard them say, hit the floor, which we all did. We hit the floor. And Jason Crow told us to take off our pins, take off any form of identification. We held hands going around that Capitol gallery. And I had my phone, and I was afraid to call my husband because it recalled 9/11. 9/11, when people made that last phone call to their loved ones. But I did call, and I said, Stan, just tell the kids, I'm all right. They're going to get us out of here. And the Capitol Police got us out of there. They told us to hold when we got to that door to go out because we weren't sure who was behind the door. And then they said, okay. They opened the doors, and the insurrectionists were lying on the ground with the Capitol Police with guns over them. They hurried us down the steps to get out. I wanted to get my staff member. They said, no, ma'am, we can't do that. He is forever traumatized. It took him months before he would ever go back into the Capitol. Let me just end here because it is, we had a president who incited a riot, and we witnessed that he refused to call the National Guard out, which was his jurisdiction. Nancy Pelosi did not have that authority to do that. And so that frightening message is that those who can commit political violence, that the president is there on their behalf. And he says, I have your back. I have your back. We cannot allow the story of January 6th to be rewritten as a mere riot or a protest that got out of hand. To do so would dishonor the sacrifices that the Capitol Police officers made to preserve our republic, embolden those who would undermine it. I join my colleagues today. I thank the Capitol Police every day when they come to work to protect us and our democracy. We faced hell on January 6th, and despite overwhelming violence, they protected our democracy. They secured our Capitol, regardless of who is in the White House. I know that I will, and my colleagues will keep the faith of this great democracy. Thank you, and I know I've gone over time, and I thank you for your indulgence.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes gentlelady from Washington, Ms. Jayapal, for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It has been 5 years since Donald Trump incited an insurrection at the United States Capitol to stop Congress from certifying the 2020 election, and 5 years that Trump and Republicans